Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, Opie and his wife had a difficult day with constant arguments. Later, the wife left the house late at night, claiming to buy dry shampoo, but Opie became suspicious. He discovered a charge at the place she claimed to go, and when she returned in the early morning, he found evidence of her being out with someone else. Now let's get into the story. My wife, 27 female and 25 male, have been married for over 5 years and have been together for more than 7. We have 2 beautiful little ones together. She is a full-time student. I work full-time. I make enough money for us to pay the bills and eat, but not much more. Our relationship has had its ups and downs. Some points were pretty rough. We separated twice, but we always worked it out and learned from our mistakes and grew together situation. My wife and went to town today to run errands was not fun. We brought the kids, and it was just one thing after the other that kept starting fights for no reason. She started saying some pretty hurtful things. And granted, I'm sure what I was saying probably passed her off too. But I told her I was only trying to communicate about the issue so that we could just address it and be done with it. But she just kept telling me to be silent and not talk to her. When we got home, it was around 9 p.m. We got the kids inside and she was in the bedroom getting dressed up. When I confronted her about why she was putting on heels and perfume, she said, "I'm going to get dry shampoo." This was obviously a red flag and all, but I wanted to trust her. And she has done this before where she really does go get what she needs and then comes back. As she was leaving, I was still just like, "Let me come with you. Your sister can watch the kids for us. She's living with us temporarily." She refused and then drove off. So I do what any doting dad does and I got the kids to sleep. Well, I was also watching the bank account to see if she was being truthful with me. 30 minutes later, I saw a charge at the place she was going and I was thinking, okay, everything's good, right? I was just overthinking things. She loves me, right? Yeah. Well, several hours passed by and I hadn't so much as heard from her. I was starting to worry. So I texted and called, but I got a notification that I'd been blocked by her. I own the phones. I was thinking, wait, what happened? Was she okay? Well, as time passed and passed, I was staying awake, thinking in my head about every single thing that could be happening while I awaited her coming home. The thought crossed my mind that maybe she could be cheating on me, but I refused to believe that and continued to give the benefit of the doubt. Here's where it got real. Around 5 a.m., she came into the house, trying to be quiet and putting some groceries away. She thought I was asleep. She put her phone on the counter, and I grabbed it and snuck into the bedroom. While she was distracted and on her Snapchat, I found a message she had sent to some guy thanking him for a wonderful night. As she came into the bedroom, I confronted her with an emotional tone of "I was worried about you, and God, so help me, you better start explaining." Well, when she looked up at me, I saw her lipstick smeared all over her face. Her eyeshadow was smeared, and her makeup in general just looks disheveled. Her hair was frizzy, almost like she ran home or something, and her breath from 4 feet away reeked of alcohol. I was destroyed. 7 years of time, energy, money, and love just washed down the drain. As my heart fell to my feet, thoughts of the other guy and what happened ran through my mind. I got pissed and broke her phone right in front of her as I called her out on the bullshit. And you know what she had to say about it? That I was delusional and needed help. That she didn't cheat on me. I continued to go off on her, hoping to get some kind of emotional response from her that would indicate remorse, but none was shown. I'm at a loss. I can't understand this. Am I being delusional here? Is she right about me? Can all of that stuff be blamed rationally? Even if it can, I don't know how to move forward because I can't afford a divorce. I married this woman because I thought she and I were going to build a life together for us and our family, chase our dreams and all that shit. Who does this to someone? Like, really? No matter how much you fight or argue or things go stale, how do you just throw everything away for one night? How is that worth it? I just need support. Guys' advice is appreciated too, obviously. If she really did cheat on me, I'm going to have to get divorced. I can put up with a lot of shit, but I can't deal with betrayal. I really don't even believe in divorce because of my religious beliefs. But like I said, betrayal is something I can't do. Are there any Christians in here who are also willing to advise? All support is welcomed. Today's second story. In this story, during a trip, OP discovered his wife's infidelity through text messages and intimate photos with a colleague. He considered confronting the colleague's wife but refrained to avoid embarrassing his wife during the trip. Later, he confronted his wife, who admitted to the affair. Despite initial resistance, she allowed full access to her phone and agreed to therapy. He is conflicted about whether to inform the colleague's wife, balancing the desire for justice with potential harm to the progress made in repairing their relationship. 5 months later, they are working through the aftermath, but the user still grapples with trust issues and the urge to disclose the affair to the colleague's wife. Now let's get into the story. Back in February, my wife and I enjoyed a trip to Vegas gifted by my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law joined us and brought some friends. All was well. One of the nights we were there, my wife, mother-in-law, and her friends decided they were going to go to a club in the hotel, and we guys were going to go play craps. I got tired and decided to head back to the room. I showered and patiently waited for my wife to return to the room after receiving some detailed texts about what she wanted to do to me that night. She arrived stumbling and was clearly way too drunk for any kind of activity, so I undressed her and got her into bed. I plugged her phone in and was about to go to bed when her phone started blowing up from one of her friends. I answered her phone and they informed me she had left her credit card at the bar. I thanked her for telling me and ended the call. I swanked up as I usually do to close the app when I'm using, and her phone displayed a text conversation that wasn't in the regular iMessage app but Telegram. It caught my eye and I thought it was strange. I opened it and discovered it was a text between her and one of her colleagues for context. Back in July of 2021, we moved states 3 hours away as my wife kept asking for me to get a transfer with my job. Finally, a transfer was granted and we moved from our old town to a new state. My wife was a principal of an elementary school there, and the male colleague who was texting her is still a principal there. There were photos shared of her in the sexy outfit she wore that night. He told her how hot she looked, and the last message was "Love you, baby." I didn't know what to do. I went to her photo and saw she had shared many photos with him. Very intimate photos. I saved all of the photos and sent them to my Google Drive account. I saved all the texts and sent screenshots to my account as well. I then went on to FB Messenger to see what else she has been up to. I saw that one of her ex-boyfriends was expressing how much he missed her and how he should have married her and not me. I then went and deleted all the screenshots from the recently deleted photos folder, making sure she did not know I had screenshotted all of these things. I stayed up all night pacing as she slept drunk. I had his phone number from her phone. I saved it and screenshotted it in the Telegram app to prove it was his number in the messages. I found his address. I found his wife's name and her phone number. I found her on social media. I was ready to blow this all up, but I didn't. I love my wife, and I decided to let her explain herself before I blasted them to his wife. I packed my bags and was ready to change my ticket and fly out. But again, I love my wife, and this would have caused her great embarrassment if I were to be gone early in the trip, leaving her to explain to her mom and friends where I was and what happened. So again, I stayed put. I also knew that if I left, there would be no room for reconciliation. By this time, it was about 6 to 7 a.m. I took her phone and went downstairs to the little coffee shop and breakfast place in the hotel. I just helped myself through all of her stuff. I checked the phone statement on my phone and found out how long this had been going on. just over a year. The first text came through in December 2020, and then they stopped in December 2021. But clearly they continued talking through the app until February 2022. During all the vacations, dates, and fun little things we did together, I could only assume she was texting him with me right next to her. I bought her a coffee, an orange juice, a Red Bull, and a bottle of water so she could sober up when she woke up, because we weren't going anywhere. I went back to the room and plugged her phone in. I had everything. I had the idea to log into the Telegram app they were using to talk on my phone's web browser so I could see all of the messages between them. I sat on the bed next to her, sad, angry, heartbroken, and just in disbelief. Finally, at about 11 o'clock, she started stirring. She told me to come to lie with her, but I just went and sat next to her. She immediately knew something was wrong. When I got into bed with her, I guess she could just feel it. She immediately jumped up and turned to me and asked me what was wrong. Before I had even said a word, all I said was, "Who is Greg?" She immediately got defensive inside. She asked why I would go through her phone like that. I told her what had happened and that I wasn't snooping through her phone. I explained that someone had called and I saw it. She jumped up and grabbed her phone and went to the bathroom. I opened the app and saw she had sent him a message. I left the app open last night, upside. Then she deleted it. She deleted all of the messages. So they disappeared in my web browser as well. But I already had them saved. He replied, "Oh, no. Am I in trouble?" I couldn't help but laugh. This guy was 41 years old, a principal asking if he was in trouble. I found it funny that he did not give a crap to ask how she was. He wasn't worried if I was angry. He wasn't worried. She came out of the bathroom and I showed her my phone and said, "You're really going to go text him right now?" She started crying and I began asking all the questions I wanted to be answered. Some questions I knew the answers to, some questions I did not. I asked if she had sex with him. I asked how long it had been going on. I asked if he had ever been in my bed or in my home. I asked if she loved him. The answer to these questions was no. I wanted to go to his house. I wanted to burn it down. I wanted to do physical harm to him. But I have a precious daughter and a very good job that requires a security clearance. I finally lost the urge to confront him or hurt him. But I still have the urge to let his wife know. The problem is, my wife does not want me to because of her embarrassment, shame, and guilt. But I wonder if it is that or me finding out something she didn't tell me or lied to me about. Who knows? But I want AP's wife to know. She deserves to know. I wanted to post his and her phone hashtag here that night, but I thought that may get me banned as well as into some civil trouble. We have very close friends there. Some of our friends' kids still visit us in our new state and our new home. Some friends are still principals there or work in the school system in the small town. AP's wife does as well, so there are small circles that intersect. Recently, going back through the cell phone records, I remembered that we had attended a marriage conference in February 2021. Sure enough, there was his number on the same dates as the conference. He actually attended the same marriage conference with his wife. It just got worse, it seemed. I also saw that she talked with him on the phone on her birthday, August 2021, while I was arranging a surprise party. She was on the phone for 45 minutes. I practically had to drag her to dinner that night with about 40 people waiting to surprise her. When she saw all the people, she cried and told me she loved me so much that night. I had no idea. I went through my phone and deleted every picture from December 2020 to February 2022. That was intimate hugging or kissing or any sexy photos she had sent me, or photos of us together on some random trip we had taken. I couldn't delete the pictures of my the same time, but they make me sad knowing what I know now that she was likely talking to him and coming home to me. Update. She removed the lock from her phone. She has given me full access to her phone. I told her I wanted couples therapy. I wanted her to go to individual therapy. She refused couples. It went to individual therapy. I asked again for couples therapy and she refused again. I finally told her that she did not get to dictate how this went. She either went to couples therapy or left. I told her I would not move out. She could move out. My daughter would stay with me as I would be in the house, and she needed to stay in the environment that she knew she was living. She said that I would kick her out and keep our daughter from her. I would never keep her from her mom, but I would have full custody and she could see her every other weekend. She finally agreed. She cried. She apologized. She explained most of it to me, but it's only been 5 months and I keep getting questions in my head and I ask them. She gets so upset when I bring it up. I told her again that I was sorry, that my grief was inconvenient to her happiness. I told her she did not get to just move on like she wanted to. She just thinks if we don't talk about it, it will disappear and we will be fine. I started going to the gym. I'm looking better. She has noticed other women starting to give me attention. Good-looking, fit women. She admitted she made a huge mistake and she messed up so badly. She is working on fixing things. I still get depressed, but we are working through it. I still want to tell the wife, but I don't want to risk the progress we have made this far. My therapist asked if that would make my situation any better and what the repercussions would be. So here we are. I guess I'm just letting you guys know it's possible. I see so many posts. How do I move on? What do I do? Is it possible? It is, but it still sucks. I still wonder. I logged into the Telegram account recently and saw he either blocked her or deleted his account. So there is that 1 foot at a time.